And the nice thing is when you come in here, you know exactly where every record is, don't you?
Sort of.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Jeffers, ChicagoJazz.com, Chicago Jazz Magazine, and welcome to episode 131 of Talkin' Jazz. We are on location here with Bob Koester at Bob's Blues and Jazz Mart. We're going to be talking Record Store Day, which is coming up April 13th. He's got a special performance happening here live in the store. Smiley Tillman and his band will be here. But Bob, since you left Delmark Records and sold Delmark Records, you've gotten this store cranking. You constantly get new stuff in all the time.
Yeah.
And, I mean, let's just talk about the store itself to begin with. And, of course, great deals are coming up on April 13th for Record Store Day. But, man, you know, every time I come in here, you get more and more collections. Now, where are you getting all these different collections from? Well, I know you got something from WBEZ at one point, too.
We bought their whole library, 8,000 CDs. And it's going to be months before we can get them all out because we got another library of 5,000. The library of 5,000, a lot of them are still shrink wrapped. They've never been open. So.
And it's like a mixture of jazz and blues stuff, or it's all jazz?
Jazz and blues.
Yeah.
And we put all the blues in the blues. We have a separate room for blues over there. So that's the first thing we do is pull the blues out. I think more blues fans are apt to buy CDs than jazz fans.
Yeah.
At least that seems to be my experience. Maybe some of the jazz fans are so old they have trouble reading the tiny type in some of the CD booklets.
Well, but I also think, I mean, you know...
one guy said he could hear the ones and zeros.
Really?
Of the digital.
Do you believe that?
Not for a minute. But I believe what he was saying was that it doesn't sound as mellow as LPs, and a lot of people have said that.
Yeah.
And my hearing, I'm 86, my hearing isn't so good that I can tell the difference between a CD and an LP.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, as a musician, I listen for specific things. I can hear some of the different nuances on an album as opposed to a CD, but I mean, overall, you can still get a good feel of what's happening. Yeah. I've never really worried about it.
One of the reasons we have a 25% discount on secondhand CDs until Record Day, and I think that might be the end of the discount.
Oh, okay. So it's 25% on all used CDs?
Yeah.
On all used CDs. So all those BEZ CDs that came in are 25% off, or there's different ones?
The only exception are the 99-cent CDs. And most of them, if we get a collection, we always get some classical and some jazz. We sell the classical and pop and rock and so forth for a lot less. Rock, not 99 cents, but sometime.
Yeah.
But half the price of a jazz record. We have a pretty good rock collection. We don't have space, so they're just in boxes on a table in the...
Well, because you get different collections in, right? So sometimes the jazz stuff and the blues stuff has some rock stuff mixed in with it.
Yeah, it depends on and the classical. Our classical CDs and LPs are generally 99 cents.
Really?
I believe, yeah.
Wow.
We have quite a few over there.
That's amazing.
That's over there. I think it's in your picture.
Yeah, well, we'll move it around. But the thing that I love about coming in here is, like, for an example, like, check this out. I'm just looking around the store, and I see right there, live from the Chicago Gold Coast Gaslight Club, Joe Kelly. Yeah. I mean, I've heard about the Gaslight Club. I never experienced it, but there's a live recording right there, an album. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that's down here.
That record was only sold at the Gaslight Club.
Really?
Yeah, that was on Rush Street.
Yeah.
And Rush was a lot of jazz on Rush Street. There was Joe Siegel did his concerts in one club, I forget the name.
Mm-hmm. Under the Happy Medium, I think it was, right?
Happy Medium, yeah. And there were some others, and of course, Mr. Kelly's.
Yeah, Mr. Kelly's.
London House and Mr. Kelly's were two really great clubs.
Yep.
And the nice thing was, maybe why so many great jazz piano players didn't leave town, was they'd have a piano trio besides whatever other. Usually the trio, and there'd be 2 trios at each club because the union wouldn't let you work more than 5 days.
Oh,
so
really?
They had one trio for Monday and Tuesday and the other one for the rest of the week. And they had Ahmad Jamal, Ramsey Lewis. Every
I remember
piano
Judy
player.
Roberts used to do
raised.
that, and Larry Novak was one of the guys.
All of them. I always wondered why Jody Christian. I don't think he ever did. Jody's one of my favorite piano players.
Oh yeah, yeah. You recorded him, didn't you, with Delmark?
Yeah, with Ira Sullivan, we did a trio record, I believe, and one or 2 others.
Yeah. So you've got all these records in here now. The incredible thing is a lot of these are in incredible shape too, right? I mean.
Yeah. Well, when you buy a collection of 500 or 1,000 or more LPs, two factors are there. One is the guy has learned how to take care of the records. He doesn't leave fingerprints in the grooves. He takes care of them, and
the album covers, factor. Right?
They take good care of the album covers. But sometime we got a collection, a guy writes his name on there. And we bought the library of that station, and the call letters are sometimes on there in a magic marker that you can't get rid of.
Oh, really? Well, that's history,
like that
though,
Dave
right?
McKay record.
Yeah, Dave McKay with Vicki Hamilton. I mean, it's unbelievable what's in here. And you always keep getting new stuff in. Like, check this out. I mean, there you go. Where else are you going to see that recording, right? Bunk Johnson.
The earliest musician, jazz musician to make records.
I mean, that's
He didn't make them till the 40s, but he played with Buddy Bolden.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got this thing. Bad trumpet player might be Al Hurt. No personnel listed on the thing. They're doing all jazz standards. One of them's Burkhart's Blues, so maybe Burkhart's a trumpet player.
And they used to do that, right? Because they might have been signed to another label, but as long as they weren't listed on there, nobody could prove it.
Yeah.
And they can make a couple extra bucks by recording another recording without having their names on stuff.
That would happen a lot.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the record day, right? So Record Store Day, actually, this is the 12th year, if my research is correct. And if it's not, then somebody watching will let us know.
You did more research than I did.
So it's the 12th year, and really it's basically, from what I read, was formed to get people out and to get people aware of record stores and independent record stores in the Chicagoland area. Now, you used to have the Jazz Record Mart downtown, and now this is the next version of the Chicago Jazz Record Mart. Now it's Bob's Blues and Jazz Mart.
Yeah, I sold the name with the inventory. I thought I was retiring.
So what happened?
Then somebody offered me a large collection, and we got the WBEZ library, 8,000 CDs. And several other collections. In fact, the lady's bringing in some stuff sometimes, I hope, before I leave today.
Yeah. So who are you seeing come in and buy records? Are they younger students, older people that love it, or
we
what?
got every age. We had a dozen people from Hungary come in a couple of days
Really?
ago. Yeah. And most of them didn't buy anything, but one of the guy bought maybe $150 worth, so that was nice.
Yeah.
But I guess some of them are more interested in going on a trip than hearing the music or whatever.
Well, but I think that there's not a lot of record stores like yours that have such a collection of vintage stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, just looking through here, Elvin Jones, Hank Jones, Keith Jarrett, Art Hodes, Dick Hyman. I mean, I'm just looking at all of these different things. Coleman Hawkins.
Yeah.
I mean, you just have a list. And when there's so many, when the records are here, if you really want to get into the jazz history of the whole thing, it's all here. And you get to actually hold a record which they would have had in the 50s or 60s, right? I mean, that's kind of the allure of it too. So let's talk a little bit about April 13th, Record Store Day. Now, you're going to have a live performance here with Smiley Tillman and his band, which include Kate Moss, George Bauman, and Tom Resco. And they're going to play probably in the back here. Is that where they do it?
That'll be blues. By the way, blues, we have a separate room full of blues. I don't know if we have any records by the group, Room Full of Blues, but we got a Room Full of Blues. And when we get stuff, the first stuff we file, put on sale is usually blues.
Oh, really?
It might be Muddy Waters or John Ray Hooker, or it might be Jimmy Rushing, or Eddie Benson, one of the stand-up guys. Blues is the core of jazz, and if you ignore blues, you can't. It's pretty hard to play good jazz.
Mm-hmm. That's where it came from.
I always thought maybe Stan Kenton didn't know much about blues. He was in the store, by the way, one day.
Stan Kenton?
Where'd you get all these old records of mine? Yeah. Stan, your records sold awfully well. They're not rare.
And the nice thing is when you come in here, you know exactly where every record is, don't you?
Sort of.
I knew I was going to say I would have been impressed.
I don't know. There are boxes of things we haven't opened.
Well, let's talk a little bit, one last thing about the record store day. So the live performance is going to be from 1 until 2:30, but you open up at 10:30 every day, right?
Yeah.
Monday through Saturday.
10:30 to 6:30. And that's going to be a live performance, but I was my cliche is I was going to be a filmmaker who collects records. I'm a record maker who collects films, and the first films I bought were jazz films. So Record Store Day will be the beginning of the screening of jazz and blues films.
Most important thing, the address, 3419 West Irving Park Road. And the cool thing is there's meter parking right here in front, but if you go right around the corner, there's a lot, well, right on the street there, it's free right on that street. So it's real easy to get to. It's in between.
And there's one place in front, right at the corner, that isn't metered.
Oh, right over here, that's not metered too.
Sometimes people park there and work in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's available.
And the parking here is real easy. Plus, you're not far from the blue line, from the brown line. I mean, you're centrally located right here on Irving Park Road. So, I mean, it's real simple to get to. And you always have new stuff coming in. So make sure you give him a call. If you can't make Record Store Day, make sure you give him a call, and he'll let you know what's going on and what he's got in. And you might have to pop up here and pick something up.
Well, just don't call, just come. I have it.
And bring money.
If I don't have it, I have another record just as good by the same artist.
That's right. And bring money.
Oh, that's always a good idea.
Well, good. Bob, I'm glad I stopped by. It's great to talk with you. Of course, Record Store Day, April 13th. Get all the information at Bob's Facebook page. That's the best place to go to. We'll link it all up down below. And we will be back, I'm sure, in the next couple of months to check back in with you.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. But thanks again. And, of course, thank you for watching Talking Jazz. And as I always end this show, if you can't make it to Bob's Blues and Jazz Mart on April 13th, be sure to get here at some point, and hopefully I will see you either here at some point or at another club somewhere or somewhere out on the scene.